Hi everyone. I hope you're all doing really well tonight, and I hope you've had a wonderful day. And I would like to take some time to discuss a serious topic. If you were able to join me Thursday night on my A1R Psychic Radio show, I discussed a very important topic that's near and dear to my heart. And I'd like to continue that discussion. During that show, which I do have the replay, by the way, if you weren't able to watch it, please find that I did post the replay, the recording of that. If you cannot find it, you can just comment or message me, and I'll repost it or send it to you. But that show is very, very fast-paced and short, and I had to try and cram a lot of information and things that I wanted to say into a very short amount of time. But that's okay because it started the conversation. It started opening up to this topic. And now I'd like to talk to you in a setting where I can be more calm, myself, laid back, and be able to speak from the heart without the time restrictions. This may get a little lengthy, and I apologize in advance for that, but I do ask that you stick with me and hear it out, because you may really learn something that you didn't expect to, or you may be able to share something with a loved one that really needs to hear this. You can either share it with them by sharing this actual video with them. If you cannot figure out how to do that because we are in a private group, just let me know, message me, or put in the comments if you'd like me to send it to somebody. I can send it to you in Messenger, and then you can send it to them that way. But either way, please bear with me and watch the whole thing, because I can almost guarantee that somewhere in your lifetime you are going to run across somebody that this pertains to, and it's going to apply to you in some form. But the discussion is, the broad discussion, the overall discussion is how to overcome adversity, how to persevere in the face of it, and even more importantly, how to recreate your reality and build a new reality, the one that you desire, despite the obstacles, despite all the issues that seem unsurmountable and totally impossible to get around. On a more narrow scope, and what is my situation is, I want to share about chronic illness, and even more specifically, invisible illness. And while this particular area may not apply to you, I'm sure somebody that you know and love is affected by this, or will be at some point in their life, in your life. But it also, in just listening to me talking about this more narrow topic, it applies to anybody that's suffering. Doesn't matter if you don't have a chronic illness. We're all human. We all, when we go through our struggles, whatever kind of struggle it is, we all suffer similarly and go through similar things. We want similar things out of the situation. We have the same desires because we're human, and those are natural things to want and ask and go through. So just try and keep an open mind and listen to the entire story regardless, and hopefully you'll really be able to pick something up that can help you and help others that you love, because a good portion of people that are suffering out there have an invisible illness. Whether it be chronic fatigue, whether it be some form of chronic pain, whether it be a mental illness, whether it be some type of rare disease, whether it be a hole in the heart, whether it be the body's inability, even diabetes is an invisible illness for a lot of people. But yet the symptoms can be so severe and so detrimental to your well-being that it completely interferes with your quality of life. And too many times, those of us that suffer from these types of illnesses get judged. we get bullied, or we get abandoned, the total opposite. We either get too much of negative attention, or we don't get the attention that we need. We don't get the support that we need. We are not believed. We're called hypochondriacs. We're told that it's all in our head. We are made to feel guilty for something that we're dealing with that was not our choice, was not our desire to go through. And I've been on both sides of this coin, from the point of I grew up pretty healthy and normal and strong, and I was blessed to live a happy childhood with very little trauma of any sort, or any kind of illness, rather, except for regular typical childhood illnesses. It wasn't until I was in my mid-20s that I started to experience my genetic illness that I didn't know I had. It was a series of events that triggered the symptoms and woke up this disease, so to speak, and caused me to start spiraling downhill physically, mentally, and emotionally, and in total, it took me down spiritually. Now, I have to say, I was blessed to have a very strong faith in God. I was raised a Christian, and as a young adult chose to be a Christian by choice, and I did have a very strong faith in God. I had a strong faith in Jesus. And whatever your belief system is, a good, strong faith in something, some higher power, is something that can be your savior during a time like this. And I really think that it kept me from offing myself, ending it all, despite having come close. Things like your children or a dear loved one can also help pull you through, but that doesn't mean that you don't hit the depth of rock bottom despair. And after you go through something like this for so long, mentally and emotionally, you start to go out of control. I had never experienced depression before. I was normally a positive, upbeat person until I suffered for so long that I went for years misdiagnosed, undiagnosed. All my tests kept coming back normal, saying that there was nothing wrong with me. And it got to the point where, as my symptoms increased and my pain worsened, and my life went downhill, my support went with it. It got to the point where doctors didn't support me as much and didn't know if they believed me. I had doctors straight out tell me, there's no condition that causes all of these issues that you're complaining about. And I've left many doctors' offices in tears, thinking that there was no hope. Then my family didn't know what to believe, didn't know if I was as bad as I said I was. And as I shared the other night on the radio show, I even got bullied because of parking in handicap parking spots. Despite having the placard, despite having a prescription from my doctor, and even despite winning my disability claim and becoming legally disabled by government terms, I still got harassed if somebody saw me park in a parking spot and I got out of my car. I would come out and find notes on my window or get dirty looks all the time because I walked upright and I walked without crutches or a wheelchair. And these people say that they're trying to stick up for the disabled, and they're saying that, you shouldn't park there because then there's no parking spot for the real disabled people. And who are you really trying to stand up for if you don't even know what a disabled person is? You don't know the definition of a disabled person. You can't see if I have a hole in my heart. You can't see if I have cancer. You can't see inside of my body. As far as I can tell, I can't see that you have X-ray vision. So if you can't see my disability, don't judge. So supposedly protecting the disabled, they actually were doing the injustice themselves by bullying the very people they claim to be protecting. And I'm not the only one this has happened to. I've heard so many stories of the same things happening. And it gets to the point where you just want to end it all. Now, for sake of time and moving things forward, I want to tell you, whether you are sick, whether you've experienced some kind of a trauma, you may suffer from PTSD. You may have been attacked, raped, abused, been violently attacked. You may have been abused by a loved one, physically, sexually, emotionally, mentally. It doesn't matter. Abuse is abuse. It doesn't matter what form it comes in. It does the same type of damage. And sometimes words cut deeper than actual physical wounds. Neglect can be just as jarring, just as traumatizing as full-on abuse. It's a form of abuse. Mental, emotional abuse can be just as devastating. I want to talk to you, those that have actually struggled with these things, those that have dealt with depression or mental illness, whether you dealt with it because it's genetic, because you physically have it, or whether you've gone through it because of it's circumstantial, which was my case. I didn't know depression until years of chronic illness led me to it. I want to reach out to you right now, and I want to tell you, you are not alone. I understand. There are millions of us out there that understand. Millions of us that can relate and know what you're going through. Never lose hope, okay? Because I'm here to tell you right now, there is hope and it can change. Whatever it is that you're dealing with, it can change. I feel your pain. And there are others out there that do too. And there are others out there that want to be there for you. You just need to open up to reach out to them, to let them in to help you. There are wonderful hotlines out there that you can call, that you just pick up the phone or text, get on the computer and type, and you can vent all your problems and let these people know what you're going through. You don't have to hold it in. Holding it in is more damaging than sometimes the actual adversity itself. It can damage you so much deeper. You need to let it out in a healthy way. Not a violent way, but a healthy way. And you need to allow your emotions to surface, and you need to honor them. Okay? Emotions are energy. If you stuff them down and you don't honor them and acknowledge them, they become blockages, and they block the energy running through your body. Then it manifests in the form of this huge blockage that blocks the energy from being able to get to different parts of your body to heal. It begins to block other things like vitamins and minerals from being absorbed in those areas, oxygen from being absorbed in those areas, blood reaching those areas. It begins to then spread. Every emotion you block and hold in begins to spread into a bigger, it's like a snowball effect, and it gets bigger and bigger, and before you know it, you're blocking off huge areas of your body from being able to heal. Your body needs rest to heal. Now, if you're going through a stress or a trauma, the stress often prevents you from getting the proper amount of rest. But in the perfect scenario, people go to bed at night after exerting all their energy, physically, mentally, and emotionally. They go through whatever they go through whether it's stressful or not. They lay down, put their head on the pillow, they get a good night's rest, and while they're sleeping, their body regenerates. It regenerates precious cells of every part of your body begins to regenerate, whether it be your skin, your muscles, everything heals. It's a slow process, but it happens. If you're not sleeping properly, you're stressed, you're going through trauma, this is prevented from being able to happen. Then as you hold these emotions in and block them, you actually block the body's ability to heal itself and to rejuvenate. Homeostasis, the body's natural ability to heal itself. The body is a miracle machine, and it has the ability to heal itself. But we as humans do different things unknowingly that get in the way of that process. Not eating the right foods, having a bad diet, not taking care of ourselves, not honoring our body, not getting the activity that we need, physical activity that we need, holding in emotions, all of those things interfere with the body's ability to heal itself. We need good vitamins and minerals to replenish and fuel us. We need rest to replenish and fuel us. We need energy to be able to be absorbed through our energy centers, which are called our chakras, to be able to be transported to every cell in our body to help rejuvenate it. Emotions are things. It starts as energy, and it actually develops into a thing. And in this case, you suppress it, it becomes a blockage of energy that builds and builds and builds the more you suppress. And before you know it, you actually start to develop physical symptoms and maladies that can't heal themselves. And over years of this process, you build up disease, or what we in the spiritual community call dis-ease, where we're not at ease anymore physically. We are now in disease process. So honor your feelings and your emotions. Let them out. Call a hotline. Talk to a loved one. Find a support group. There are physical support groups in almost every major city, including urban and rural areas. You may have to drive a little ways, but if you can get to a physical location where you can sit face to face with others that are going through similar things, whether it be trauma, abuse, physical illness. They have very detail-oriented, specific groups for a specific disease or a specific trauma, to very vast general groups for just hardships. But you can sit and talk to one another. You can share experiences. You can get your emotions out and honor them and release them. Once you acknowledge them and honor them, they become released. And they get sent back to the universe to be healed. Your body opens up, becomes free, and begins to heal itself again. Okay? So get help. If you cannot drive somewhere, you cannot physically go somewhere, there are amazing support groups on most social media networks. Facebook is phenomenal for it. And that's what I did. I found one that had to do specifically with the type of illnesses I was dealing with. And I got involved, and I met some amazing, beautiful people. People just like me that genuinely cared because they got it. They knew what I was going through. And we swapped stories. We swapped battle scars and, all our war stories, everything that we had been through. We vented to one another. We could just be honest and raw and real. And it did my heart good, and is partially how I made it through. So find someone to connect with. If you don't feel comfortable in a support group setting, then join a spiritual group. There are lots of spiritual groups online that just want to love you and support you wherever you're at on your journey. And if you're struggling, it's okay, because they care and they want to be there for you. But find someone to talk to, okay? That's one of the first pieces of advice that I have for you. As I mentioned the other night, though, you have to make a personal choice to do something about it. Even if you think there's nothing you can do, if you just rest there and leave it there, nothing's going to happen. That's exactly what the universe is going to believe, because you're putting that energy out there. And if you're saying, I don't believe anything else can happen, I don't believe it's going to get any better, universe is thinking, why should I send anything? Why should I work with her? She's not believing it. She's not going to trust that it's happening, and she's not going to do what she needs to do to make it happen. So you have to make the choice that I don't want to give up. I want to believe that things can change, and I want to help make that happen. So talk about it, let it out, and make the choice to make a difference. And then believe that it's possible. How can you do that? It can be really hard, especially if you're not swapping stories and hearing precedences and inspiring testimonies to things that are happening with other people to see that it is possible. It can be nearly impossible to believe. But that's why I'm here, and that's why Spirit is telling me to share my story, because for 20 years I laid in bed and suffered, and it wasn't for nothing. At the time I thought it was, but I told myself, if I ever get out of this bed, I am going to make a difference. I am going to share my story. I'm either going to write a book or I'm going to inspire people somehow. And Spirit has been pushing me to do just that. Okay? So that's what I'm here to do. And in the coming days, I'm going to be putting out more posts and videos to share steps, actual ways that Spirit shared with me to make it happen. I'm going to have to do it in multiple posts because it's too much to share at once. But I want to get you on board so that you can start to hear the testimony, so that you can start to believe and start to make the choice for yourself. And if it's somebody that you love and care about that's in this boat, please share this with them. Make the choice for them, to at least give them this knowledge, to arm them with this information so that they can make the choice for themselves. Make the choice, open up, and then trust and believe that it is really possible. It doesn't mean you have to get so on board that you just have to fully believe and immerse yourself in trust and faith and full-heartedly believe everything. Because I get it. That's going to be really hard. It's okay. Just make the choice to say, I'm going to trust and believe. Even if that's all you can do is say it in your head and then wait for things to happen and do some of the other steps, it's okay, because as you move on to do the other steps, things will start to happen. The universe will start to show you signs that yes, you can believe. Here's why. And they'll start sending you people, putting people in your path. They'll start sending you signs that yes, this can really truly happen. And then just by saying, I'm going to believe, you put the energy out there so that the universe gets on board and says, we want to help her. We want to help her see why she can trust us, why she can believe it. And they'll start making it happen. It gets the ball rolling, okay? It gets things going. But here is one of the biggest things you got to do once you make the choice, okay? And this is a biggie. You got to ask for help. You're right, you can't do it on your own. You don't have full control. You have a big portion of the control, but you don't have full control. You need help. And this was really hard for me. I couldn't ask for help from family, friends. Some people told me it was my ego, but to be honest, it was fear. I didn't have an ego and pride getting in the way. I was afraid of being let down. And I didn't want to be a burden. I saw what my family and friends were going through, and I didn't want to put more on them than what they were already dealing with, okay? So I know how hard it can be to ask. The asking others is something that you need to learn to work on if you're not good at it. But first, start with the basics. Ask for help from Spirit. Now, if you believe in a higher power, go there. Pray, whatever you do, whatever you believe in. For me, it's like I said, Jesus and God. So I called upon them and I asked for help. But then ask your spirit guides to help. You have a team around you of guides in spirit. They want to help you, but they give us free will just like God does. They don't want to stand in our way of anything, whether we make good choices or bad choices. There are choices to be made. In spirit, there is no such thing as a bad choice because there's a lesson to be learned behind every choice. Whether it's you consider it a mistake or not, you learn something from that process. It's part of the spiritual path and the journey. So we might think, well, why would our guides let me make that stupid choice when it resulted in this? Two things. For one, they gave you free will to make the choice yourself. They didn't want to step on your toes and get in your way. And you made the choice. And second, because there's no mistake. They knew that it might be a speed bump. It might hurt a little, but you're going to learn a valuable lesson from that. And it's going to make you stronger and better than ever. And you're not going to make that choice again. They're never going to let you fully fail. But they aren't going to stand in the way of that life lesson. And I hate to tell you, friends, but some of us chose this life. I personally would have thought in this conscious state that I would never have chose this life. But as I've gone on my journey, I've learned that we all choose our type of life that we're going to live based on what we need to learn in this lifetime. If we want to learn this, this, and this, we'll choose this kind of a lifestyle that will lead us to those types of life lessons. So by the end of this lifetime, we will have spiritually grown and ascended to this point where we've learned all these lessons. I chose this life for myself. I personally am a Blu-ray. I'm a light worker. I chose to go through a disability because it would make me the person I am today, so that I could sit here right now and film this video. How could I tell you I understand what you're going through? How could I tell you I'm here for you? I get it. I truly understand if I've never experienced it. I may want to understand. I may think I understand, and that's the problem. Most people have good hearts out there, and they really think they get it. They think they understand. They want to understand. They don't want to push you off. They don't want to not believe you. They think they get it based on their knowledge set, what they've been exposed to, how they've been raised, what they're going through. But unless they've actually experienced it firsthand, something similar, it doesn't have to be exact, but like I said, adversity is adversity. We experience the same emotions, the same questions, and the same, we want the same things out of it. And we always ask, why me? Why do I got to go through this? Okay, so unless you've personally experienced it, how can you truly understand? So Spirit began to reveal to me that I chose this life. I chose this path. But I'm right when I said 15 years into my disability that this was not going to be for nothing. And it's not. And it wasn't, because now I'm here today to help others. And I can actually help in a huge way, in a way I never could have helped if I didn't experience this and go through it. I now know compassion like I could have never known if I didn't suffer. I now know patience in a way that I could have never known if I didn't have to be patient. And I was a patient. So many important things were learned through this process. And I am who I am now because of it. And that's the same for you guys, okay? Everything you've gone through, it may suck big time. And you can be angry about it. It's okay. You can be mad as hell. You can be sad. You can be frustrated. You can be annoyed. It's okay. That is perfectly normal. But I promise you, it's not for nothing. You are so much stronger, so much more equipped now, so much more refined from that fire, that now you can go out into that world and blow people away with the new person that you've become. It only is for nothing if you allow it to be. You have a choice. You can either, it's an opportunity, people. Perception. Okay, perception is everything. It's how you look at it. You can choose to look at it and say, F this, this sucks, I don't want any part of it. Even if I'm cured, I am never looking back and never talking about it again. That's okay, that's your choice. But then it will have all been for nothing. But you can choose to make something fucking beautiful out of it. You can choose to make it the most amazing opportunity that you could ever be given, and you can choose to look at it, no matter how effed up it is, you can choose to look at it as a gift, a blessing in disguise, that now you can take out into the world and help others with it. You can change lives, but more importantly, not more importantly, just as importantly, you can now build the life of your dreams, create your own reality, your new reality, and you can live and love life to the fullest while still being able to make something really awesome out of it that's going to make a difference in this world, so that you leave this world a better place than it was before you came into it, despite everything you went through. How amazing are you if, despite being stepped on, crushed, pummeled, hit while you were down over and over and over again, you still got back up and changed this world for the better? That's a superhero. That's what I choose to be. Doesn't mean it's easy. Heck no. But you know what? When I leave this world, I know that I made it better for others. I know I set an example for my children, my grandchildren, and I know that no matter what they go through, because of what they witnessed from me, they'll be strong enough to get through it and be a freaking superhero too. And here's the best part for some of us. It's just as amazing as the helping others, because that's pretty damn important. But the best part is, there's a big freaking reward on the other side of it. It's already amazing enough that you get the joy, the reward of knowing that you help others, that you make the journey a little bit easier for others. That in itself is so rewarding. But karma and spirit reward you with the most amazing thing, and that is when you leave this dimension, you get to go and reside in higher dimensions where you are rewarded every day with magical, amazing, mystical days of joy, happiness, love, unconditional love, and no pain, no suffering, no disease. And it is so beautiful. It's beyond anything you can even dream for yourself. But guess what? If you make these choices and you don't just lay down and throw it all away, you begin to get your reward still in this lifetime, in this dimension. And that's what I've been experiencing for the last year now of my life. And that's why I'm excited to share with you that the universe has already begun to reward me for the hard work. And in the coming days, I'm going to share a lot of that with you. And if you choose, you can go on this ride with me, and you'll get to experience a lot of it firsthand with me. And I want to make sure that what I went through was not for nothing. And it wasn't just for myself, but others out there will be rewarded in some way because of what I went through. I have so much more to share with you. Thank you so much if you've got to this point and listened this far. Join me, follow me on social media and here in this group so that I can share all the amazing things that Spirit has shared with me. Next one's going to be about clearing negativity and clutter and the things that are standing in your way. But we got a lot more to talk about, but it's all fun and uphill from here. We talked about a lot of the negative. Now we get to talk about some of the fun ways. Okay, there's one more thing, because the things that we are going to talk about with clearing the negative can get a little uncomfortable because some things aren't easy to clear and get rid of. But from there on, it's happy sailing, and we get to talk about the rewards and everything beautiful and how you can do it, because you are not alone. I'm here. Millions of others are here wanting to ride this experience with you, wanting to help you. So make the choice, okay? You do have a choice. You really, really do. I know it seems like you don't, but I promise you, you do. So make the choice. And then choose to believe, even no matter how hard it is right now. Choose to believe and give it a try, okay? That's all I ask. Choose to give it a try and choose to believe it. And then come along with me for the ride, because we're going to do some amazing things together, okay? All right. Until next time, as always, I love you. Namaste. Go out and spread unconditional love to the world, okay? Bye.